This is the Soul Life Psychology podcast where intuition meets logic. I'm Dr. Tony Riley. Today I'm joined by Pamela Downes. Pamela is a multidimensional soul body healer, trance channeler, and the founder of Spirit Calling, a global community supporting people through spiritual awakening. And her work focuses on helping people clear deep imprints, reconnect with their inner guidance, and understand who they are beyond what they've been taught to be. Before stepping into this work, Pamela came from a corporate background and made the decision to leave that life and follow this compulsion that was calling her. She now works closely with what she describes as the Great Council of Light, translating that guidance into something people can actually understand and apply in their lives. I'm excited to find out if the Great Council of Light is the same as what happens when people come for past life regression and end up in the in-between phase, and come and meet with the council.
What's the definition of insanity? Ain't it just a difference in reality?
Pamela, I'm really looking forward to this conversation. Welcome.
Me too. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. You and I met, and it was just an instant connection, and we couldn't wait to start having our conversations and sharing them with our community. So thank you for having me, Tony. I'm very happy to be here.
Oh my goodness, I've got so many questions. I'm so excited that you come from a corporate background, and it's probably not dissimilar to me coming into this realm that was so unfamiliar, and yet it was unavoidably calling, and it just felt good to follow it. So I wonder if you would go back to before you came to be called to channel the Council of Light, and let us know where you came from. What happened?
Yeah, what was life like before the Great Council of Light? It's interesting because they do and are so present in my life now that's a very interesting way to present it. For a very long time, like you said, I was in a certain, I call them avatars now. I call them whatever comes to my mind at the moment. But yeah, I was a certain version of myself. And that happens when we're journeying on life's path and through the different seasons of who we are and how we change and how we evolve and how we grow. And I didn't know the council was going to be a part of my future. And I know you didn't know your work was going to be a part of yours. We are just born with this bag of, the unique qualities and attributes that create us. And we take them with us and we do our best and we achieve and we create and we connect and we work and we share and we love in our journey the way that we know how to at the time. But underneath all of that is really the core of who you are. And that at the moment, through most of my life, I didn't know was my soul, my program, my spirit, the essence and energy of who I was. It was sort of buried under all those other layers of the onion of musician, artist, mother, daughter, blah, 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 business owner, employee, trainer, like all this stuff. And when I had the shift and the purpose part of me with my soul, I always was purpose driven. When I was in the capacity of leading my company, because I always knew that I connected with a certain kind of company leader, business owner. I was able to connect because I had that creative, intuitive part of me that was pulling on some of those things that I have now that are my skills that have been more expressed. But I always knew that I had a purpose in helping, say, nonprofits be able to articulate their message or their brand or their marketing, because I knew how to work with color and I knew how to work with words and I knew how to work with photography and I knew how to get the best bang out of a budget for them. And I knew how to help them with the pieces they needed to communicate what they did to the world. So I had all of those kind of skills that cultivated and got, better and better and better through my life. And I still have that purpose part, but the soul's driving it with now this awakened part of me. So that's what happens. It's like you just start working in a completely different way, and the pulls and the nudges and the things that keep opening up for you along your spiritual journey, and they never stop. They serve in different ways and different ways of having priority to others. And so now we're moving into soul purpose work. You and I and many others like us have great missions to help support humanity as they expand their consciousness. And really hear what I just said. We get to do that. Isn't it amazing? We
Mm.
choose to do that to help
Mm.
others open up on their path. And now I'm moving into healer teacher. The channeling is, and I've been told, even since you and I spoke, the channeling is kind of closing its space now. And healer and teacher are really what needs to happen right now. Channeling will be involved in that, but healer and teacher. And I know it. If you're going to say that's what you're hearing, that's what's happening. It's
Yeah.
time for the embodiment. It's time to help people understand who they are so that they can express these gifts, this purpose through themselves in that way. I can't wait to hear what you have
Wow.
to say.
Wow, Pamela, I've got goosebumps. I'm so excited to hear this because with the development of soul life psychology, and even, of course, my own development, personal development, awakening,
Yeah,
um, I got tricked along the way into thinking that spirituality, which is our, I guess, our intuition and that stream that we have, and confusing it with awareness of the self, which is, I
mm,
think, what really changes us on this planet anyway,
yeah,
or the purpose of being here. So to hear that things are changing and that you're stepping into teacher role to help people understand that aspect of themselves excites me the most. I
yeah,
think I think this journey that we live, each incarnation, because very much into past incarnations as well and how they all weave in. But this one, actually, each of them is the same. We're moving through a process each time
yeah,
as the person or the spirit that we are that time. So, wow, lots going on in your world. And I wonder actually, I know with the channelings and things and the fabulous information that comes through that seems to be so pure and also in line with what I've discovered from working in those transcendent spaces is it all seems to be saying the same thing these days,
yeah,
which makes me so happy
yeah.
because I think through the years, or when I first got into this was actually only 20 years ago, even though it's like, yeah, well, it's quite a while, but it was not clear then. It was a very murky space, and there was kind of this, I guess, new age way, which was
Mhm.
sort of on the way, and then I guess we had religion, which was sort of alluding to what was possible, and now we've got this, and
Yeah,
it's very different, and I think very clean and clear. And I guess
mhm.
what happens now is people are ready to, whether they like it or not, I think it's part of the evolution that
It is.
they're ready,
They're
and we're
ready.
ready to help them.
Exactly, and we have to
Yeah,
rise and continue to step into our unknown spaces to be able to
yeah.
serve those who are stepping into their unknown spaces. It has to. It's a natural evolution, a natural unfolding. And I love what you just said because, um, you know, I said, why did you start my journey with channeling then? Like, why did we do that? Because you needed to be seen, because there was a moment and a pocket of time where the council had to be seen from through me in this way, but it is now that's like an oversaturated space, and it's not the talking and the intelligence part of it. It's getting into the wiring, it's embodiment, it's understanding, putting it in practice and
Yeah.
living it, expressing it, being it continually, and expanding through it with it. People need help with that. And nothing lights me up more than that. I get, I'm just like everyone else. We're business owners. We're trying
Yeah.
to achieve. We're trying to create. We're trying to serve. We have noise in our head. How am I doing this? Every year when I had my own business before, there was a strategic plan. What are we doing this year? And how are we marking the goals? And what are we achieving? And how do we measure it? And what's success and what's not? And so in spirituality, you are doing those things, but you're sort of doing that as like a lower kind of underneath action oriented place for clarity. but you have spirit completely in the driver's seat. You
Yeah.
have because you have no idea what is coming, and your brain kind of clouds it a little bit, and the chaos in your overthinking mind kind of gets you off course a little bit. But knowing that these directives that I receive are very clear to me, it's now time for this, and I'm watching it happen in real time.
Yeah.
I'm working with people in my soul path coaching, and by the time the 3 months is over, they're starting to pull on their own guides that are wanting to come through, and they're starting to. It's kind of amazing,
It
and
is
it's quick.
amazing.
Hmm.
It really is amazing. And that people coming in, it's kind of what I'm hearing from what you just said was when they, I guess, when they know how to tune into their own guidance and their own stream or connection, that's when the gold happens. But I think they have been everyday people their entire life until this strikes them that they've got this other
Yeah,
capacity, then it just takes a little while for them to trust it. And if they've never heard of it before or been into it before, then it's foreign. This even
it is.
intuition,
Yeah,
how that works through us as a person, and it's one of my favourite things, and it's probably the starting point for most people to embrace that change within themselves
mm.
is when because that intuition, that connection with our soul, it overrides our logic, and sometimes that's confronting. It's like, oh my god, it said this,
Yeah,
but once you trust it, it's like, well, you trust it, you go with it, and good things happen from that. The
absolutely.
change is always positive.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Tony, I love that because there's so many times that I receive messages in my inbox, in my email, on my social platforms, on my comments, on my YouTube videos and podcasts and stuff, and people say, "There's something about your voice. There's something about your story. It's their intuition. It's their soul
yeah,
pulling
yeah,
because there's recognition there, and they didn't know how to put words to it. They didn't know how to express it, understand it. But when they hear the story and they hear how I push through to courage out of fear and the path that unfolded before me, there's something about that that makes sense to them and they are starting to experience. And it
yeah,
helps them understand the
yeah,
spiritual path because many people are inside of, I always make a box, whatever your box is, if it's the religion that you were brought up in, if
yeah,
it's some sort of fear that makes you stay in here, that makes you comfortable, people are starting to like break that the box and they're starting to jump out of it and try to find new ways of believing and seeing and understanding and using their discernment. And they have to take those risks and send those emails and post those comments to explore more because like you said, it's just an inner knowing. It's pulling them into the next version of themselves, basically.
absolutely. And
Hmm.
isn't it, Pamela, it's so interesting because right now, well, I'm assuming it's happening for everyone, but right now it's just happened in a massive way for me. And
Hmm.
it's like this life has had phases, and once you pass through one, work through this whole process, and it makes sense, and of course you've got hindsight then, but then when you reach it, it's like it was
Mm.
another lifetime within
I
this one.
know.
It's so cool. And
It is.
it's also so fun to see, or uplifting, I think, to see it happening with other people as well. And like you just explained, when they're following the calling anyway, and then it's sinking in, and they're realizing that there's something going on with them,
Yeah.
and they can't stop the compulsion to follow.
No.
Even I bet this has happened to you as well. A a couple of I just started a circle again late last year. And some of the girls that came, they were like, I don't know how I ended up here. And it's
Yes,
like,
that happens to me too. I love it. I don't know how I ended up here. I
they're
don't know
like,
why I'm here, how it happened.
yeah, but here I am,
So good.
and they're
Yeah.
phenomenal. They're
It's
phenomenally
so good. Yes.
connected. So,
Hmm.
yeah, it's really
Yeah.
just so exciting. I think, do you
Yeah.
feel like you're in a new phase? I know
Oh
we're
yeah.
similar ages as well.
Yeah.
So, it's like that. I guess as you described, where we do put up these masks, but they're survival mechanisms, and then for them all to come down and then just step into being yourself, it just feels so good.
It does.
I could give an example that's very everyday. I like to try and find everyday things so that
Hmm.
it makes a bit of sense. But so for me recently, I've always been a swearer. There was something always in me that could turn it off if you're at work, or if you're with people and you don't know if they are okay with it. So it was very natural. I never had to think about it, just it turned off. But in my everyday life, I was a swearer. Not swearing at people, it was just part of the
Hmm.
sentences.
Hmm.
And and now leading up to this new phase, it something so simple as that, it was like, you have to be yourself now. And so we had to come into just just be yourself and speak the way that I would normally speak. And
Yeah.
I guess it's been a little, I don't even know if it's confronting per se, but it's been hard to do that because there's this sort of fear of, oh, am I going to be judged? Will they not like me? Or
Yeah.
whatever it is that
Yeah.
is what held us where we were. And maybe other people who are listening can recognize that they stayed a certain way so that others felt comfortable as well as them. And that's
That's
what's
so
great, you know?
interesting. Yeah, I had the flip side of that. Isn't that interesting? I had
Tell
the
me.
flip side of that, but it's the same thing. It's just the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
I had this thing about myself where I was like, do I want to curse anymore? Do I really? I started witnessing myself hearing it. I don't know if the guides were showing me, and I don't know if it's because I'm stepping into this new teacher role, and I was having my own thoughts about it because I'll drop the F bomb. Like I'll use it in every tense, every action, every like for everything. And it's just a part of who I am. And I started witnessing it, I started noticing it, and I actually, this is a great story. I saw this woman on a reel and she was talking about how to be a better speaker. And so I always aspire to be better at everything that, if I want to be a professional at this or that or whatever, if I want to learn how to be a better podcaster or paint better, musician. And so I looked at this video and I thought, oh, that's so interesting. Well, maybe I should think about a course or a class or so then I had a friend, a brand new friend that reached out to me from the other side of the country. It was one of those emails that I get all the time, and I get these nudges from spirit to say, you need to put action behind this and meet this person. That happens every now and then, and I do it because I know it's important. And he taught in a global capacity, just left a religion, but he was a teacher and he taught hundreds of people all over the world. And we were talking about something, and he's like, there's different things that I can help you with as you're moving into teacher. Because I taught piano as a kid, and I've taught my clients how to show up for whatever they need in their marketing and communications, but it's different. And he goes, Pamela, I want to tell you something with like such an open heart, with so much love. And I said, I will receive it that way. I would love to hear what you have to say. And he goes, sometimes when you're speaking to so many different types of people and so many different types of spaces, that could be one thing. And I have such a huge mission that I feel like Spirit was telling me because I was saying it. That could be the one thing that makes someone go to the next place to hear something. And he goes, it's just something I thought you might want to hear. And I was like, I can't believe you're saying that to me because I was already thinking that. And it's like we are getting what we need. Like you're getting exactly what you need to show up the way that makes you feel so authentic and full and
Mm,
complete. And I'm getting what I need to help me with the fear I have of teaching. So
mm, mm.
that makes me full and complete. And it's it's just really quite profound. You said, are you going through another expansion? Yes, that's one of them. That's one of them. And a guide that came when I first started opening up the channel has just come back. And he said, there's going to be a big change again. There's going to be a whole new expansion. And I'm like, here we go. Okay. We're ready. We're ready for the next. We're ready for the next mission. Right? It's
It's
fun, isn't it, to
how
share those
fun. How fun
stories?
we've got the opposite
I love
thing.
that. I totally love it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, these are my favorite topics to talk about. But I
Yeah.
feel like the listeners are going to be pretty excited about what it means to be channeling the
Yeah.
council. I always called channeling streaming. Part of developing this solar
Yeah.
psychology was to try and change the language that was being used at the time that made people be like, oh God.
I
And
like that.
they were not interested in listening if it was a bit too fluffy or anything. That's why I mean, I guess it was sent to me to call it streaming, which is pretty funny because we've got our, our streaming telly and all of that now.
Right, right. Yeah, but it's the same
But
thing. It's
it is
streaming
the same
down.
thing. It's
Like it's
exactly the
coming
same
in.
thing.
Yeah.
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 Um, so I would like to, this is curiosity for myself actually,
Yeah.
channeling the council back in really early days for me. I didn't read very much. A lot of it's just come through my channel or
Yeah.
stream, but I did read Michael Newton's work, which was the in between life stuff. And
Okay.
I think it's been done at a time when very human minds had to try and accept that there was these different realms or possibilities. So I think it's presented in a very human way and with hierarchy and things which I don't find exist in that space. But the council, I can remember having I'm going to say it's random because I was not expecting it or having it
Mhm.
facilitated. But I went so deep into out of body, so deep. I'm lying on a couch with a friend. We'd just been to mediumship school, and I went so deep. And I went home. It was home, and it's basically black at home. There's really not much there, except the most extraordinary feeling that you can't articulate in our terms. There's nothing like it. But when I was there was these just kind of outlining figures, and
Mhm.
they looked so cliche, like the cattle, or at least how Michael Newton had described them. And they had this thing around their neck and their sort of dresses on, and I couldn't see their faces, but I could see their figures there. And they said only one thing to me, two things actually. You're on your own, and I knew exactly what it meant in regard to my
Mhm.
work.
Mhm.
And remember who you are. And I was like,
Yeah.
it was so meaningful then and there.
Yeah.
You come back and it's like it has its effect and it's really meaningful. But it means so much not only us, but when people come along and they are told from their own soul
Yeah.
what's for them, that's when I find they have a real shift. Sometimes it's only a couple of words and it's like, it's time, I
Mm.
guess, where they get it. So
Yeah,
do
that's all
you
it needs.
and tell me about your council people. Are they or council energy? How do you find it? Do they have a look or do you just have a feeling when they're there?
Yeah, both. I love hearing you talk. Like your words and the tone of your voice are just so comforting and lovely. I get lost in your story too because I'm a visual person, so I'm like seeing as you're describing them. And yeah, my experience visually with them is sort of similar. They're shapes. They're like statuesque kind of forms. And when I was first starting to connect with them, you go into you have to learn the process. Um, well, for me, I did because I was having so many different experiences and with so many different frequencies, so many different beings. And when I would connect to the council, they were in almost like this is so hard to describe. They were in like a cavernous sort of area, but it was shallow, but it was vast.
Yeah,
and it's bright and white. To me, it's not black, it's bright and white, and but they are figures. And I don't know how many there are of them, but it's a collective of them, and they are statuesque, and that's not even the right word. They're forms.
yeah,
They're like a group of forms,
yeah,
but their feeling, their vibration is just complete. It's a super high frequency. And when I feel them they're always in me anyway, and I'm an aspect incarnate now that we all are. We all, those of us who have these missions are finding each other right now. But I just got introduced to my higher aspect and told her name and got integrated with her. So it's a continual process of learning more and more and more about this council aspect of myself. And it's just love. I feel it's just a complete resonance when they're with
Yeah.
me. And there are a lot of energy to harness,
Yeah.
a lot of energy to harness, and I'm still getting used to the physicality of it.
Yeah.
There's still some part of lower aspect of me in my throat that still deals with fear and public speaking and teaching and channeling live and all that stuff. I've been told very recently through I work with two practitioners every 6 months. Um, and I already knew this was happening, that this next like pum of abilities and healing and work is about to just exponentially open up for me, and that this will be no longer an issue because it's just what's supposed to happen next.
Yeah.
When I first started channeling them live, and you'll see early videos of me, I had to get this energy somehow to get acclimated in my physical body, to work with my language, my voice box, my intelligence, my physical body. And it's painful sometimes to watch some of those older videos because I'm strained. It's like
Oh,
I really can't control it because I'm trying so hard to just allow and not
yeah.
know that I'm on screen or live in an audience, which happened, two times I channeled live, and they were on big, huge podcasts, and the whole world got to see it. I had a huge ego death with this one very, 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 very viral video. But they had to happen for me to have karmic closure, to elevate my frequency, to give two bleeps about what people think of me, to bring me to the next
Yeah.
part, to bring me to the next part, and so on and so on and so on. Um, but I will tell you, Tony, like when I went to Next Level Soul, and I haven't told this story in a while, and I actually told it yesterday. Um, he showed us and he gave us a tour. Alex Ferrari, the host, he gave us a tour of the studios. We were brand new, and he was so excited to show his equipment. He's so kind and so nice. And then it was time to sit down and record. And we were doing great, and I was channeling, and it was great. But then he's like, "Hold on, something happened. Like the energy tripped the monitors, and he had to go into the studio space and restart things." And he's like, "This never happened." And we started laughing because it's the council's energy. Like my friend was with me, it's council's energy. And when I was done channeling, he goes, Bashar, right? I said, yeah. He goes, this is like a stronger energy than that. And it was because they were like, we are. And and then when I went to Sean Kelly Digital Social Hour podcast, which was the beginning of, I don't know, this year, it was last year. I don't remember anyway. Um, he films 9 or 12 episodes in a day. I mean, like people are coming in and coming out of his studio, coming in and coming out. They're shuffling them in. They're putting them in the queue. They're bringing them in. Like he just hit like number 3 overall podcast, like all podcasts. He's crazy.
Wow.
It's a lot of hard work. This kid is young. He's got a lot of energy. Um, there were podcasts before me. Then I came in, and my friend Dina sat down, and I went and I sat down, and I'm getting to know Sean, and we're saying hi, and the production manager, whomever, comes in, and Sean's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "There's this weird thing happening with the monitors. I can't figure out how to make it." And he's like trying to fix it, and Sean's like, "I'm sorry, guys, I'm sorry." And Dina and I start laughing, and Dina's like, "It's the council." And Sean didn't really believe it because he didn't know at that point, and he had never seen me channel anyway. So when I channeled, like part of the funny part of the teaser video they had pinned was that Sean's like he hadn't really, I think, been exposed to it. But anyway, they had a trip in the monitor the entire time, and he got on to Instagram stories, and he says it didn't happen before Pamela came in the studio, and it didn't happen for 9 or 10 episodes after. It was the energy of whoever she was channeling. And it's the truth. It really is. It's a lot. And now with this healing work that I'm doing, that I'm channeling through them, like people start like unzipping, people get hot flashes and they're just red, and it's a lot of energy.
Isn't it? It's so again, I keep saying it's exciting, but it is exciting to me
Yeah,
when I see all the puzzle pieces coming together and these people, unbeknownst to them before you turned up in this case, they're part of getting the message out. They've
yeah,
created these big podcasts, and here they are, got a lot of
yes,
people listening, and then you
yeah.
come in,
I
they
know.
see they see the proof of the strength of energy that's happening,
Yeah,
and because it's so I guess it's visceral when that happens.
it's
So
visceral.
there's nothing they can do except to say, "This happened. We saw
Yeah,
it, and we're in awe."
yeah,
And I think that that helps people who maybe are either not interested or just a little skeptical or
yeah.
completely cynical. It's like,
Oh,
"Oh, but this person
absolutely.
with all of this cred, I suppose,
Yeah,
saw it, heard it, and is saying that's what happened." And I think that's all of these layers that start to break down. So,
yeah.
wow, you've got these cool stories of what happened with the Biggs podcast. I was also on the Alex Ferrari podcast before
Mhm.
he's got his gorgeous space now, but
Yeah,
I found this is a little off topic, but I've found some of these podcast hosts, or the ones that I've been on, they're so good at asking questions and
yeah,
engaging. And I noticed how they fit into the pattern of a lot of them are number one, or they have this inherent curiosity, and they
mhm.
ask great questions, they engage conversationally. And then there's you and I are both fives, and we are number fives because it's called communicators. So it's like it's okay. We're here to converse with anyone. And
Yeah,
part of being a five person in the life map system, it's a part of being a five on the five mission is we can adapt. So we can adapt to someone who's really excited and open and taking everything in. But also if they're much more reserved, we would adapt, and really as a communicator, everyone can feel comfortable.
yeah,
So isn't that
absolutely
exciting?
true. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's so interesting. That goes back to where we started the conversation because I never knew that I was a 5, and I knew in business, I would say I was able to mirror whoever was in front of me. So if they had a really low kind of calm, I would that's how they needed to be communicated to, and
yeah,
it just would happen naturally, and as I got older, I was like, I didn't know that I did that, and then you start to understand who you are, and then all of the things, like being a 5. It's just so interesting.
it
Yeah,
is.
there's something for everyone on this journey. There really is. There's something for everyone who wants to learn, hear, watch. There's so much to consume. Sometimes there's too much to consume. But
Yeah,
and that's what we're talking about now a lot in my community, and specifically when I work one on one with people. The guides give instructions, not just divine wisdom and the healing, but like instructions, like just like we talked about, embodiment is the thing. It's to go within now, not to go everywhere trying to seek all of your answers. It's time to go in and really allow this to be heard, this to be acknowledged, expressed, considered,
yeah,
flexed. Let that
yeah,
be flexed.
absolutely.
Um, yeah, a lot of change happens when people start to do that. When they really
Yeah,
hear it and go, "Oh yeah, I'm trying to find that I'm in this house and this card and this thing and I'm born on this date and then this star system and this," and it's great. It's great to help you understand yourself, but like it's time to go in this direction now.
yeah.
Big time.
That's the best. It's the best clear information in there.
Yeah.
And again, this excites me because it fits everything you're talking about fits with what I've observed. And you'd already said it, but I'm just going to repeat it. People people get what they need at the time to help them understand themselves, which is never going to be a bad thing. But then it seems to become it's too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
And then even perhaps they become overwhelmed. But when you go in, the answer's clear. It's simple. It's simple, clear, and it's right for you at that time. And it's just really phenomenal. I'm so excited to hear that this is happening
Yeah.
across the globe,
Mhm.
and it definitely fits with my observations of even. I'm getting a little off track here, but I'd love your thoughts because you have children
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, uh, when I first started developing this psychology, this new psychology that included intuition and streaming and all of these things, I didn't realize that it was for the new young people
Oh,
who
yeah.
were born already very, very connected. And even if anyone tried to shut them down, like it did happen in our generations, just only purely because people didn't understand. But these kids come in, even if you don't understand them, they're like, that's what's happening. And they question us. And it's
Right.
just, it makes me so happy to see it. I do understand, and I can see when people don't get it, they're like, find them aggravating. But for me, it's like, doing it,
Totally.
changing things. It's their job or their mission,
Yeah.
and they naturally sit with their intuition. The way that I like to explain the difference is, and it happened around 2000, there's a little bridge on the other side of it, and the generations worked up to it, but they default to intuition. This is my simplest explanation, whereas we defaulted to
Yes.
logic. So
Hmm.
it's a reverse in a way, and it's just so beautiful to see. And can you hear when your kids are talking to their friends and things? It's like sometimes I hear them say things to each other, and it's like, what the, I didn't
Hmm.
know that until I was
Hmm.
47 or
Yeah.
something. They're so heartfelt. They talk in terms of, well, I feel like this. And it's just so incredible. And I feel like it's so wise. When you hear them talking, it's like they're really wise. Have you
Yeah.
found that?
I have. And I feel like you're in my head, or we like, it's almost like we sort of prepared that we were going to talk about these things. Because last night, my beloved and I were out to dinner, and sometimes we just sit at a bar. We go to our favorite places. And this man that was always there that we've never said hi to before, we struck up a conversation with him. So it started this whole thing. And we were talking about exactly that. Like you said, and this was my experience, and my beloved was talking about it last night. We used to go to outside people, places,
Yes.
elders for confirmation, direction, guidance, acceptance, approval. That's what we were trained. That was our generation.
Yeah.
No, these kids have a confidence about them. I have one born in 2002 and 2005. And they are so self-assured about their decisions. They know what they want to do. They are so connected to their friends. They are so smart and confident
Yeah.
in their decisions.
Yeah.
Even my eldest, their friend group are so loving, and they're like a little family, and they do everything together. Like, I mean, these are 25-year-old kids,
Yeah.
20, 22, 23,
Yeah.
24, 25. And for years they've been traveling like this, and they love being together. And they make decisions about their life without even talking to me. Or that's what my beloved was saying too. Like, they're just so confident in themselves and different than we were. They go to that inner tool. They go to that inner guidance, that discernment. They use them. They use their tools.
Do. They do. And
Yeah.
that's, I guess those are the differences that people who feel really confronted by them are seeing. It's like, no, they don't. They
Yeah.
It's not that they're being disrespectful, but they don't go with respect your elders, because what if that elder doesn't.
Right. That elder doesn't know their world.
Oh,
That elder
and
doesn't
and it
understand what they're talking about. Right.
yeah, like, what? No, that doesn't make sense. I really find with them, I know we're generalizing, but most of them will pretty well fit into this, where they're like, "That doesn't
Hmm.
make sense, so no, I'm not doing
Yeah.
it."
Right. But
And
there's also something, Tony, on the other side of that I see is missing, because there was a part of my upbringing where I really enjoyed being with elders.
Yeah.
I felt very safe with them. I enjoyed being with them more than sometimes my peers. I waitressed and worked in diners, and I had friends that were like older people, and I would have so many conversations with them. When we were growing up as kids, we walked up, we talked to our older neighbors. We spent time with them, we played in their gardens, we had lunch with them, spent lots of time with the elders in our communities. And I don't know that I see that as much because there's wisdom there. There's so much to learn there on the other side of it that you can't get in other ways. So I do wish that that existed more.
Do you I'm like this I love that you've said this. I was like that as a young person as well, where
Hmm.
I loved older people, and I'm wondering if because our mission is what it is,
It
that
is.
we needed that wisdom that they had
Yeah.
grown into, whereas a lot of our peers were in a very different phase or doing something
Hmm.
very different. I too also I still do love older people. One of the things I saw in the patterns, or I noticed in the patterns of a person's evolution here as an individual, is we get through our predetermined mission. We get through it whether we become really spiritual and self aware or not. And I think
Hmm.
in the day, it certainly happened because we got older and wiser and more patient as we aged, and things that bothered us before don't anymore. So it happened in that way.
Yeah.
And but now I think with these kids, they're kind of already there. It's a
Yeah.
flip. So there must be some connection that's going to be required for them. And maybe it's to be a bit more logical, to
Maybe.
move
Yeah.
or work through life. And it's almost a flip. But yeah, older people
Well, they're
also
and
me.
they're
I
being
love
trained for their new they're being trained for their new babies that they'll bring onto the planet, which are going to be even higher and you know, a higher frequency, more mission driven, and I mean like big time. And I find these conversations so interesting because I don't talk about things like this for a while, and then I was talking about it yesterday again. Um, I channel messages every month from the Great Council of Light for my community members, right? And I was in the middle of doing this message, and out came this meditation. It was a womb activation meditation. And it's for women of all ages, not just women who are reproductive age, older women, women in
yeah,
menopause, younger women, women who've had sexual trauma. You
yeah,
know, there's medicines that have created trauma in our womb, in our wombs as women, to heal the womb, to clear the womb, like to, and I said, why? And they said, everyone needs, there's a variety of reasons why, but one of them is to help these younger women clear that space for these higher vibrational beings. And I'm like, gosh,
yeah,
it makes sense.
yeah,
It makes sense. And I was
yeah,
talking to a woman last evening who wants to have like Reiki infused birthing experiences to help support the exchange. Like
yeah.
these are wonderful and exciting new ways of doing and being that are breaking the norm of what our world was, which is just
Yeah,
in
yeah,
tandem with everything else that's happening.
mm,
And I keep describing this lower frequency that's been kind of, occupying and kind of, running our world. It's breaking down, right? But
yeah,
we're rising into our spaces and our
yeah,
creation and collaboration, all the things
yeah.
are coming now. It's a shift. It's so cool.
In some ways, it seems like we're working back to where we
Hmm.
started, where we were
Yes.
as a human, I guess, hyper aware of energies. I mean, I know they called them different things then, but they were so much people were so much more reliant on their own instincts and their own guidance. So, and I think the way that life went, and it went exactly as it was supposed to, it squashed those things in us a bit. I say us as humanity as a
Yeah.
whole. It's
Yeah.
certainly it's certainly coming back now, and
Hmm.
it's just wonderful. And I think one more thing about the kids. who, as you said, they're in their 20s now.
Hmm.
They're not even kids anymore. And
No,
it's like
they have
they,
salaries and
yes,
healthcare.
exactly. So before we know it, already it started, they get into positions where they make the call on how things change, how we educate the children, how we run our degrees, if they even stay. But they will
Mhm.
be the ones calling the shots. And that's how you can see that the change will absolutely permeate humanity, because
Mhm.
these young people came in and
They're
there's no
busting it
choice.
down.
They're
Yeah.
doing they're doing it. And also well, numerology is a way to see who you are if anyone's interested in it. But with this life map, you can see exactly how the whole evolution of humanity transpired. And now with these young people coming in, and what you know is when they come in with this energy, this softer energy, it happened with every single child. It doesn't matter what culture we're born into. It doesn't matter where we are on the globe. It's happening. So
Yeah.
it's really, I think it's just a really exciting time for us, and I'm very excited to hear that you're called into teaching.
Yeah.
That's the mission of a five. Also, actually, I don't know if I told you that, but
No.
that's calling.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's happening. It's happening big
amazing.
time. Yeah. Moving
Gosh.
into all of the things and it just sort of evolved and I listened and one of the things that was not bothering me, but like it was always important to me that everybody was able to work with me in the council in some capacity. Like I don't want anyone to feel like they can't. So that's why there's all these different places and spaces I've created. But that's not even enough. There's so many questions, so many. I had this experience. Pamela, I heard this story. I had this happen to me. This happened to me. What do you think about this? It's everywhere. And I just said, what can I do? Like, how can I serve people? And so I just created this thing every month, and people can come and ask questions, and I can guide them, answer
Yeah.
them if I can, and just help them. Um, and then I create a workshop for that. So if they want more, they can do it. And they're the things that I'm starting with. The soul path
Yeah.
coaching it kind of evolved into it's teaching. There's nothing better than helping someone change their life. Like marketing was fun. It's
Mhm.
just not the same thing. It's just not the same thing. It's not the same thing. When you see someone change their life and everything opens up and then they have different relationships with people that they didn't have relationships with in their
Yeah.
life for 10 or 20 years and now
Yeah.
everything is healing and purpose is revealing and everything is changing, you're like,
So rewarding.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah. Amazing. I wonder if the channeling or even intuitive reading, for example, where you're reading for someone and they come for it, they're always
Hmm.
coming for some sort of counseling.
Yeah.
They're coming for some help, whether they know it or not. But I think there's a threshold there where we can take them further, and or some of
Yeah.
them will be ready to step into where they are getting that guidance from themselves, which we talked about before. So there's all these different, I guess, threads that people are
Yeah.
following to come in, and ultimately it'll all lead to that they understand themselves better and
Yeah.
probably will go within.
Yes,
Amazing.
for
Oh,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
so good.
They're not afraid to it when they're ready, they're not afraid to go into spaces that are really, maybe so different than what they've experienced in their life.
Yeah,
Even in the space of just being completely in a space of being able to say, I love you.
yeah,
I love you. I met you and there's just something that I feel such love for you. Do you know how hard that is for some people to say?
yeah,
And
almost
to be able
impossible.
yeah, to be able to
Mm,
just openly say, "I just love you, Pamela."
yeah,
Or I could say to my person, I love you
yeah,
because I do. And that expression to be able to give it so easily, but really, truly, it's not just I love you too, bye bye. It's really coming from a place of intention.
Yeah, absolutely. Deep, deep, heartfelt,
Yeah.
true.
Mm.
Amazing. Whoa. So there we go. We've had the best conversation. The
You're so
time's gone
cute.
really fast, actually.
Yeah,
I can't
it
believe it. It
always
always
does. It
does,
always
doesn't
goes
it?
by
Like,
so fast when you're having fun.
yeah, time just doesn't exist for a moment. I had I had a question for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if it's still relevant because once you
Okay.
get talking, the plan was like didn't really need that. Oh, okay. It's this. What do you think or feel that people misunderstand about this path?
Oh, okay. So the first thing that came to my mind is, and I feel like it's been breaking down as people are rapidly expanding and also tapping into their gifts, that the spiritual path is just like, ta-da, ta-da, I did it. I'm now enlightened and I've done all the things and life is happy-go-lucky. And the spiritual journey is rainbows and sunshine and unicorns, and it's not.
No.
It's not there. Whoever started that or created that, I don't understand it, number one. And number two, it's a series of, number one, remembering yourself. And
Yeah.
while you're doing that, you get little choices, little decisions, little opportunities to choose love or fear,
Yeah.
love or fear, 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 over and over and over and over again. And they might start with small things. And you see, oh yeah, oh, that benefited me. That turned out to be a really good decision.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that again. And then if you get too fearful and you don't make the right choice, you get to try again. You get to do it again. But it's pushing through that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to embody it, baby.
Mm-hmm.
You have to live that journey. You're not just going to, people think that because I did plant medicine, I was enlightened, I channeled in the life. No, there's a series of never ending choices
Yeah.
where you get to show up for your soul and express your soul and listen to your soul and honor your soul journey. And you see your life change. You see new people come in, old people leave. I just had a conversation with someone I hadn't seen for about a year, and I was getting caught up with her to hear what's happening in her life. And she completely started. She's always like, "I'm going to do a session with you. I know I should do a session with you." Da 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 da. But I heard her talk with her story, tell me about self empowerment, how she ended a friendship, a lifelong friendship, because she realized she was disempowered in it, and there were these roles. And so I heard in my mind, "Ooh, self empowerment, and I ended this zigzag with this person, this relationship or, entanglement with this man. And we would go back and forth and back and forth. And she realized, because she's starting to flex a muscle of self empowerment, I don't want that anymore.
Yeah.
I want higher and better. And I said to her, now it's your job to honor that decision that you made, that conviction to the universe. You don't want that anymore. Now you
Yeah.
have to continually choose that you don't want that, because a big carrot's going to come. And the universe is going to say, do you really want that? Or do you really want this? And
Yeah.
it's your job to say, no, I decided, I'm honoring my soul. I already made the choice and it's benefiting me. It's changing my life. Everything is better. I'm going to honor that choice. I'm going to know that that higher vibrational relationship that has everything that I want and the person to show up, to mirror me, to learn and grow, support, co-create, and grow together is there.
Yeah.
That it's there. And that's I think a common something that I hear. Also, I think that people minimalize, is that the word, or is the word trivialize? I don't know if that's the right
Yeah.
word. But people make fun of people who are on this path.
Yeah.
They want to make it so it's not real, and they want to act like you're just sensitive, or you're doing your woo-woo thing, or, you know, don't acknowledge that as your own truths. Just know that they're meeting you at the level of fear that they have within them,
Yeah.
and that it's not important what anybody else thinks. It's important what you think.
Yeah.
And so that's I think the message to take away is just keep on moving forward, even when you feel afraid. Find your community, find people like you, Tony, and me to listen to get regrounded. Ask your guides, your team, your soul, what does my soul want? What does my soul need to show me that's best for me right now, that I need to support me while I'm feeling wobbly, you know? And you'll get it. And then you get bigger and bigger decisions to make, bigger and bigger choices to make, a marriage to leave, a job to change, like
Yeah.
to sell a house and move to another country. Like, you don't know, it's just, it's like a little,
It's a lot.
but they're wonderful things because it opens everything up to a whole new way of living.
Absolutely. And I think just to a few things that you just said, we we got to remember that even on our spiritual journey, we're people here. So
Yeah.
we are here to enjoy what
Yeah.
life offers us because we can't when we don't have a body. So we can have we go down, have a drink with our beloved, or
Yeah.
whatever we do that's very everyday is important. It's really important. But certainly this human road it's full of ups and downs. As people, we fall back into the same pattern again.
Yeah. We
But
do.
eventually we do work through the process and the clarity comes. You make a different decision. So it's really important that people just, I think, understand that it's it's a journey. It's so
Yeah. It's
cliche,
a journey.
but it is. You just keep going, and where your interest is peaked is most likely your inner guidance guiding
Yeah.
you to where you need to be at the moment, or what you need to read or
Exactly.
listen to, those kinds of things. So, yeah,
That's so
lots of
perfectly said. Yes.
it's been absolutely wonderful having this conversation. I knew it would
Yeah.
be.
And me too.
Um, Thank you, Pamela. Maybe down the track we can get together again and
Yeah,
you can hear
for
what's
sure.
going on with
You're
your big
Yeah,
changes and
you're
everything.
gonna be
So
on my podcast too, so that'll be
excellent.
fun
I look
too.
forward to
Yeah,
that. That'll be
yeah,
brilliant. So I just want to say a big heartfelt thank you for being just so open and no gatekeeping, telling
it's
us
my
where you're at,
pleasure.
where you've come from.
Yeah,
It's beautiful. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you so
you're
much.
so welcome. You're so welcome. I just want to tell everybody who's listening too, that if you go to spirit-calling.com/soul life psychology, I have a whole bunch of free things for them to check out. And I just built an assessment so they can do the assessment and see where they are on their spiritual path. So you don't have to guess, you can see. And
Yeah.
I'm just so grateful for our conversation. So thank you for having me. And thank you, everybody, for listening.
Fantastic. Well, I hope you really enjoyed that conversation with Pamela. If you want to check out more of what she offers and the work that she does, you can visit her website. There's a link in the show notes. It's spirit-calling.com. And if you've got any questions, you can send them through via the form in the show notes. If you are interested in learning about your life map, I'm doing Life Map Foundations. It's a 10-week program, begins June 22nd, which is really soon. It actually starts Monday or Tuesday if you're in the UK. It's designed to help you understand your personality, your purpose, that is, who you are and why you're here, and the plan that you were born with. I will be teaching it live online. You'll really enjoy it. Self-awareness positively impacts how you experience life. Okay, now looking ahead, in upcoming episodes, we are going to be talking about lots of different things, but synchronicity. And we also have still to cover a couple of the bruises, namely betrayal and injustice, which we'll get to. If you are enjoying these episodes, it would really help to reach more people if you hit subscribe or follow. for now, I want to say thank you for joining me for another episode of the Soul Life Psychology podcast. And until next time, self-awareness is the ultimate activism.
What's the definition of insanity? Ain't it just a difference in reality?